Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Okay, so this was not the commentary video that I was planning on making today. That one will have to wait because I woke up today to so many direct messages from a lot of you guys sending me this Instagram story post that Leon Brown has posted. I was kind of blown away, honestly. Leon rarely ever speaks about stuff to do with sister wives, and I just was kind of blown away, honestly. I got onto my phone today, and I have been sent it by, no less than, 10 people. Then I got on Facebook, and so many people were talking about it on Facebook and posting it and all that. I'm a member of all the Sister Wives Facebook groups. Of course, why wouldn't I be? As the #1 Sister Wives commentary channel on YouTube, why wouldn't I be? If I keep on saying that, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, okay? It's on my vision board. What was not on my vision board was the fact that Leon would come out and speak about Kody. I'm blown away. I'm honestly blown away. And what's interesting about this is that the most recent episode of Sister Wives was on Sunday, and then I do all of my reactions on my TV channel, which is linked in the description box below, Peter Watches TV. So every Monday, I do Sister Wives commentary over there. I'm also going back and watching some of the older episodes from, starting with season 1. And doing commentary on those as well. But what's interesting to me is that when I did my reaction, I talked about the fact that Kody, and I have my notes pulled up, so I'm going to get to this in just a second. I was like, please, I hope I didn't delete these notes, but I still have them. I still have my notes from my Sister Wives coverage. So I watch Sister Wives on Sunday night, and I take very, very extensive notes. And then I do recaps and reactions to them on my TV channel. So anyway, when I saw this come up, I remember talking about it. I mean, I just did the video yesterday on my TV channel. I remember talking about the fact that Kody addressed his relationship with his kids, which he rarely ever does. And if he does it just kind of in passing, or Robin brings it up. But what we're getting ready to start seeing on Sister Wives is the beginning of the apology tour by Kody Brown, which they have shown in the trailer. We're going to start seeing it. I think it begins probably with Christine and David, and then it goes to Janelle, and then it goes to Mary. I think Mary's going to be the final one. So we're seeing the setup for that is what's going on. They showed it in the trailer for the beginning of the season, and so we knew that this was going to happen. I feel like they are setting this up so he can repair the relationships with his wives. Therefore, I think the way that Kody sees it is, my wives talk so much shit about me that if my wives stop talking shit about me, then I might be able to have a relationship with my kids. Although the majority of his kids are grown adults and have minds of their own, and they're basing their relationships with their father on the way that he's treated them, or not interacted with him, or not reached out to him at all. What was interesting about this episode was that he stated to Robin, we're going to get into this in just a second because I have the quotes on here that he said something about, he was asking Robin about having therapy, and he has old relationships he needs to fix, and insinuated those old relationships were with his 3 ex-wives, Mary, Christine, and Janelle. And then they start talking about his relationships with his kids, and outside of his kids with Robin. And so he made some comment about he's reached out to them several times and they have not reciprocated on multiple occasions or something, he said, and that it's kind of like the ball's in their court. Well, when he talked about this, he says 2 different things, because he makes one comment, and I'll, like I said, I'm going to get my exact quote here in a second. He makes some comment about he needs to go to therapy so that he's comfortable having conversations with his kids, insinuating that the reason that Kody doesn't have relationships with his kids is because he's not comfortable with it. Then he later says that he has reached out to them on multiple occasions and they haven't reciprocated. And so then he even goes in and says, because there's a lot of, Robin even says there's a lot of influence from their mothers, basically. They don't say it. I mean, they don't say Christine influenced her kids, Janelle influenced her kids for him not to have a relationship. They insinuate that. And so then he says, well, I've said a lot of stuff about them as well. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. You think, Kody? You think that maybe you shouldn't have talked about your own kids and their mothers the way that you have? That's probably part of the problem. Not to mention that you've been an absent father to the majority of your kids. You don't even check in on them, on your, it's still to this day, the fact that he called Gabriel to tell Gabriel that he was sick and forgot to even wish him a happy birthday, and then, I guess called later that day or the next day or whatever. I mean, it's just I don't know, that's so hurtful. And like, Kody doesn't ever see his part in it. So when I was doing my reaction yesterday, I believe I said something, because at the beginning of my video yesterday, I talked about how Mykelti and Peyton, and a lot of people informed me yesterday that Mykelti and Tony, her husband, have been doing reactions to the shows for like the last 4 years. I was not aware of that. But Mykelti seems to have lately, or maybe it's just being sent to me more, taken to social media and has a lot to say about it. Maddie recently, I did an entire video over here of Maddie. She did like a Q&A on Instagram, and people asked questions, and they even asked her if she'd be okay reconciling with her dad and things like that. And basically what she said was, I still have the screenshot, so I can get to those in a second. But basically what Maddie said was that she doesn't think that, like, he can give her what she wants. And then she called Robin the biggest liar and manipulator in the world, and said that if Robin's mouth is open, then she's lying. Okay, which is interesting, because they show something completely different on the show. Now, I have had an issue for quite some time with the production and editing that TLC does with Sister Wives. I think they are so one-sided towards Kody that they always are very protective. I think they've lost the plot on the fact that this is reality television, because they're more intent on selling us this idea of this perfect family. And so they've just kind of like beat around the bush with his relationship with his kids, but they never fully address it. This season's where we're going to really fully see it addressed. And I hope that I hope that Janelle and Christine and Mary say to Kody, you've been a shit father. This isn't just about me. Like, Christine in the episode said that, like, she is tired of being blamed for Kody's relationship with their kids. Like, that's on Kody. Janelle said she wishes that she had that much control over her adult kids, but she doesn't. So whatever choices they make, they make. But anyway, in my video, I think I said something about the fact that, like, Peyton had spoken out recently, and Peyton said that he hadn't somebody asked him in a live stream on TikTok, and he said that he hadn't spoken to his father since Garrison's funeral. And so, like, but that doesn't mean that Kody didn't reach out to him. He just said, I haven't spoken to my father since Garrison's funeral. So when I saw this episode, I was like, is Kody going to spin this like, I've reached out to all the kids, but they don't want to have anything to do with me? I recently made a video that Logan, actually, who Logan's completely silent about Sister Wives, never speaks about Sister Wives whatsoever, that under a Special Forces post that Kody had posted on his Instagram, Logan had commented something like, go for it, Dad, or something like that. Something encouraging that he had posted on Kody's Instagram about Special Forces. And, like, Logan's very private. Most of the kids are very, very private on social media, with the exception of about 5 or 6 of them. The rest of them are very, very private. Most of them have their, like, Instagram, like, Logan has his Instagram account completely on lockdown. It's completely private and all that kind of stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me if Peyton, like, you know, jumped online and was like, well, let me tell you what my dad had to say about this and what I think. And it wouldn't surprise me if Mykelti did, especially since apparently she and Tony do responses to each of the episodes. But Leon coming out and speaking really, really surprises me. And to be honest with you, Leon coming out and speaking about this, as well as saying that they're taking a social media break, kind of indicating that this is, like, too much. Like, this is my personal life. This is my relationship with one of my parents, and this is too much, and I can't deal with the lies anymore. Like, re-traumatized all over again. It gives it a lot of relevance and a lot of, like, it gives it a lot of relevance and a lot of weight that it's coming from Leon. It would be like, for me, like, Leon and Logan are, like, the ones to me that, I don't know, it's just like they're such reputable sources. I mean, the rest of them, like, a lot of them, like Peyton and Mykelti, they'll jump online and say stuff any chance they get. Like, they'll do any interview. I mean, Peyton is on TikTok live like 24 hours a day. And I don't dislike him for that or whatever, and I think a lot of what he says is funny and it's interesting. But, like, I mean, I feel bad for the kids, honestly. I think they have to kind of, like, the fact that they have any kind of normalcy to life whatsoever, growing up in polygamy, growing up on TV on polygamy, if they have any kind of normalcy to their lives now whatsoever, I think it's fantastic for them. I don't blame the kids for any of it. None of it. And when I see people online, like, coming for the kids, like, I'm like, these kids did not choose this. Like, I don't care if they're, like, 30 now or not. Like, they did not choose this. Like, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting when in like 20 or 30 years when we see the fallout of like reality television, because I can remember when reality television started. Like I was like in my early 20s, I think, when The Real World and The First Survivor came out and stuff like that. We haven't really seen the fallout of it yet. We're just starting to now, you know? I mean, it's crazy to think that like Next Generation, which is the spinoff show from the Housewives, of like the kids of the Housewives, we're just seeing that now in 2025 when the Housewives have been around. I mean, Orange County next season is the 20th season. So it's crazy that took 20 years or 20 seasons for that to happen. I think we are like right at the beginning, because a lot of these kids that grew up on television, like I just saw that John Gosselin got married again. It's going to be interesting when we start seeing tell-alls, memoirs. We're starting to see it a little bit with child stars and stuff like that. I think it's going to be interesting when we start seeing reality television kids that grew up on television start writing memoirs. I mean, we've seen a few, but not many. And they really tell, like, the behind the scenes of what really happened to them and what choices they did have. Because, I mean, for years we've heard, like, Christine even said it in her book, like, if the kids didn't want to be filmed, they didn't have to be filmed. So when I saw that this came from Leon, I was blown away. I just was like, okay, well, this is a reputable source. Not that any of the kids aren't reputable. I'm not saying that. But when you have somebody that's, like, online, like, 24 hours a day, and they're like, sister wives, sister wives, sister wives, sister wives, sister wives. Like, I mean, Peyton's online all the time talking about it. Like, all of his, like, TikTok live streams are always, like, people are clipping stuff about him talking about sister wives. Like, he's made it pretty clear he's comfortable talking about sister wives. You know, like, Logan has distanced himself from sister wives. Like, Leon has distanced themselves from sister wives. So, they've made it pretty clear that that's not, like, you know, like, Leon was on the episode speaking to Maddie after Garrison's funeral. We haven't seen Leon in an episode in years. Like, you know, Mary rarely even refers to Leon. And if you don't know who Leon is the one biological child of Mary and Kody. So when I saw this come out, I was like, oh, wow, like, this is a big deal. And I want to kind of, you know, it's interesting that this is happening mid-season because we already know that the whole season is already filmed. In fact, the reunion's already filmed, which is crazy when you think about it, because when you watch other reality shows, like, most reality shows do not film the reunion until like halfway through the season. It's not like they film all the episodes, film the reunion, and then it's all ready to go. Well, on this last week's episode, at the very end of it, they showed clips from the reunion coming up. And I have a feeling this, I mean, I was asking on my reaction video, like, does anybody know how many episodes this was? Somebody said 10. Well, this was the 9th episode, so we don't just have one more episode. I think we probably have like 1 or 2 more episodes in the mid-season break. I think it's going to be, we might have one more episode than a mid-season break. I think it's going to be about 20, 22 episodes. And I think we're going to see, there's going to be some in-between episodes. We know that Mary's dating. She's going to date this Ron guy that she met at speed dating. So that's going to be like one of the episodes. Each of the wives is going to be another episode. So that's 4 or 5 episodes. And then I think towards the end of it, it's going to be like, can Kody, you know, work things out with his kids? And I think that's where we're going to leave it. And I do think that there's going to be a season 21. People have already come out. Christine's talked about they're filming for season 21. So there is going to be a season 21. And I think season 21 will be built around, I'm speculating that it's going to be about Aurora getting either engaged or married. And then I think it's going to be all about, like, the family wanting to come together. Christine kind of hinted at, like, a family reunion, which I thought was interesting. Janelle said that she didn't think that that would ever work to have all of them in the same room together. I think Christine kind of said something too at the same time, that it would be nice to see all the kids, that she didn't want to not see the, you know, the kids, including Robin's kids. So I feel like if they have a season 21, production has made it very, very clear. I've shared this in a lot of videos that I've done, but I think it's pertinent, so I'm going to bring it up again. In Christine's book, she talks about when she went to Kody and told Kody that she was leaving, and then she and Kody went to one of the executive producers, I believe his name was Tim, and told him that she was leaving. That executive producer left the following season because he said, this is not what I signed up for. Basically meaning that he wanted the show to be like a family, wholesome kind of show, right? Like, where we're showing, like, that polygamy is possible. That if all the wives are leaving and the kids are so upset with their dad, like, this is not the show that the executive producer signed up for. Well, if that's true, then the case is that the production team at TLC has really pushed this narrative for years of trying to get us back in love with the Browns that we met, the Kody Brown family, on season 1 through season 5. Well, that family doesn't exist. In fact, that family never existed. And we know that now, right? It's just been all lies and scams to try to get the audience to be convinced into believing what they were showing us. Well, I don't understand how you can have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kids the reality show is on social media right now because we're not seeing any reality on the show. Because how they allow Kody Brown to get away with something like this, I mean, at this point, it's almost like production is hurting the kids because they're re-traumatizing the kids. That they're allowing Kody to get an interview and say this. If they do not ask him in the reunion and he refuses to answer it, I mean, I'm so down with these reunions where they don't force him to all sit on a couch anyway. If they do not force him to say, you lied on camera, you said you reached out to us. Your children have said that, multiple kids of yours have said that you have never reached out to them. Why did you lie on camera, Kody? Like, if they don't ask him that question, then that is clear that TLC production is covering for Kody Brown, okay? Covering for him being a neglectful and absent father. And so, like, at that point, it's like, what is production trying to do with this show? So anyway, when I saw this come up, I was just kind of blown away. Now, I do want to go to my notes really quick and just tell you guys what he said in the episode so you guys understand it, okay? Because I think that Leon says they saw a video clip going around. But I think that they're referring to this clip from the episode. And it's where Kody and Robin are talking at their new house. It's after Coyote Pass, like all the stuff is signed. And he says that he just wants to move on and he would like everyone to stop blaming him. He tells Robin that he has been struggling with old relationships. And she says something like who? And he basically implies his ex-wives. And he talks about he goes, do you think if I got a good therapist, it would help with my relationships? With my kids so that I can get to a place where I'm comfortable talking to them. Okay, well, first of all, Kody, 15 years ago would have been a good time to start therapy or stay in therapy since you had that therapist in Arizona that y'all went to just whenever you wanted to. Maybe if staying in therapy would have been good, okay? Especially when you have 3 wives that left. Why wouldn't you, if you had, I mean, I don't understand why by the second wife you didn't think maybe I should be in therapy. Maybe this is about me a little bit. Maybe I have something to do with it. I don't know. Like, that you wouldn't think that. Or you're going through such sadness of the ending of a relationship that maybe you need to process that. Or that your kids have issues with you, which you knew before that. Maybe you need to process that. This is what it takes. A television fucking show ending that you need to realize that maybe you need a therapist. But he says in there, okay, in this part of the episode, he says that maybe a therapist, a good therapist would help him with his relationship with his kids where he can get to a place where he's comfortable talking to them. And then he goes on to say that he's been angry about what his kids have done, said, or believed about what the ex-wives have said. So he's been angry. The reason he's saying that he is not comfortable talking to his kids is because he is angry with them for what they have done, said, or believed. Done by not reaching out to him or having I think he truly believes they should all reach out to him. And I know everybody wants me to say, don't call me Truly Brown, but I think he truly believes that the wives, the kids, everybody, I mean, the misogyny of this man is unbelievable. But I think he believes that everybody should reach out to him. I think he truly believes that. So what they did was that they didn't reach out to him. What they said, he always thinks that he and Robin think everybody's talking about it behind their backs. Like, I mean, they haven't gone on with their life. Peyton has a girlfriend. Gabriel has a girlfriend. He's moving to Chicago for her. I mean, it's like, you know, like you think the whole world rotates around Kody Brown, you know? He says he's been angry about what the kids have done, said, or believed. Now, he's not talking just about the wives. He's talking about the kids. He says, I've been angry about what the kids have done, said, or believed. Then they talk about the value of the relationships. You know, Robin does this whole thing about how, like, she wishes, you know, that Kody had a relationship with his kids. I think later she says there will always be a Kody-sized hole in their hearts if they don't have a relationship with their dad. I think they seem to be doing just fine without their dad because they haven't had their dad for a very long time. At this point, I don't know that it wouldn't be more disruptive. You know, I think, like, one of the things, I see this on a lot of housewife shows, that they always want to normalize this, like, we have a toxic relationship with a parent. Like, let's fix that before, like, the person passes away. This happened a lot on The Housewives this last season, where it's like, we have such a toxic relationship with this parent or family member that they have not been in our lives for years on end because of how harmful they were to us. But, like, in the 11th hour, let's go make everything okay because we're going to feel guilty about that later. I'm not a big believer in that. I'm a big believer in setting healthy boundaries. And just because people are family, and I know this is not necessarily necessarily a popular opinion, but just because somebody is family does not mean that you have to fix something, okay? It doesn't mean that you have to fix things. I'm not a believer that blood is thicker than water. I'm not a believer in that. I have a family of chosen people. I also have a family of blood that I absolutely love today, but I have a lot of people in my life that I know that don't necessarily have that situation. I don't know me telling a friend of mine, you need to go fix this toxic relationship that you had no part in whatsoever, that was done to you and harmed you and you went through trauma before this person passes away because you're going to feel upset about it later. I don't know that I think that that's true. I don't know that, I don't know why we're normalizing that. I think setting boundaries, working on ourselves and our trauma response through harmful relationships. I don't know, like, the Housewives did that a lot this season, and I think, like, TLC's trying to do it again. Maybe the kids are in a good place. Maybe the kids are healthier without Kody. Maybe they don't want to have a relationship with Kody. It's not like they had to hear stuff from his wives or their mothers. Like, he said it on his own damn show. He said stuff about their mothers and the kids and the family. He showed on his own show who he is loyal to, and it wasn't them. I mean, anybody watched the seasons of the lockdown saw exactly what went on. So I don't know what he's talking about, what they heard or what they said. I mean, Gabriel confronted him in the woods and said, you could have been locked down with us. You chose to be with Robin. And Kody said, because you guys didn't want to follow the rules. And he goes, you could have followed the rules at our house and not gone over to Robin's. Gabriel made a fantastic point for his youth at that point. I mean, Kody couldn't say anything. He could have picked any of the wives. He could have isolated with Mary. He could have isolated with Janelle. He could have isolated with Christine. He could have isolated with Robin and forced them to follow the rules that he was following. He chose to stay at Robin's house. Only later, when the kids were going to work and stuff like that, did he use that as an excuse. But at the beginning, he could have isolated with any of them. He chose Robin. That's on television. That scene's on television. Kody, I don't know what to tell you, and all your supporters, of which you have very few out there, about what your kids did or it's on television for them to see. If they watch the episodes, they can see it. They lived it. It's their lived experience. You're challenging somebody's lived experience. Like, that's hurtful. Like, if somebody said to me, that didn't happen to you, I'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, that's my lived experience. Like, you cannot take my lived experience away from me. Well, these kids are growing up, and they're sharing their lived experience. And I think a lot of them, I think at least one of them will write a tell-all. It'll probably be Peyton. It might be stand-up performance art comedy, but it'll be a tell-all. Then he goes on to say, they go on and talk about influencing, that the other parent always influences somebody. They want to blame Christine, Janelle, and Mary so bad for why the kids don't want to have a relationship with Kody. And so Robin's like, yeah, like, the parents really have a lot of influencing. Now, I do agree with that, okay? I do agree with that. Like, I've had people that I know, friends of mine in my life, that'll talk, they'll say something about their ex in front of their kids. I'm like, let them learn that on their own. Like, I don't necessarily like that. One of the things I'm grateful for is that until I was much older, my parents never talked shit about each other in front of me. Never. Only defended each other and spoke highly about each other in front of me because they wanted me to form my own relationship with them. I'm very, very grateful as an adult about that. Christine says she's tired of getting blamed for Kody not having a relationship with his kids. And Janelle says she is tired and wish that she had that kind of control over her adult children, but she just doesn't. And then he says that he has reached out to all of his kids multiple times, and if they don't have a relationship, it's because they're not reciprocating. And then Robin says if they're not there, there will always be a Kody-sized hole in their hearts. Bless your heart, Robin. But I think it's interesting that he says he's angry with them and he's not at a place where he's comfortable talking to them. But if that's true and you haven't had any therapy on it, then how is it also true that you've reached out to them multiple times and they haven't reciprocated? Which then brings me to Leon's post, which I will put up here somewhere. Leon posted on social media, I think it was this morning before I got up, taking a break from my social media hiatus to say one thing. And this is profound, okay? Leon, I love you for this alone, but for a lot of other things as well. There's a ridiculous video of my father circulating where he reaches out to his children. Let me be so fucking clear, Leon says. I have not heard from that man. I love that they say that man, first of all. Let me be so fucking clear. I have not heard from that man since my brother killed himself. Kody blatantly blew me off at Garrison's funeral. He is a liar. He is a joke of a father. That's all. taking a break from my social media hiatus to say one thing. Oh, I guess I misread this. I don't follow Leon. I guess that they're like on a social media break right now. So, okay. So I misread that. I misunderstood. I'm sorry. So they're coming back from their social media hiatus to say this one thing. I love that. There's a ridiculous video of my father circulating where he says he reaches out to his children. Let me be so fucking clear. I have not heard from that man since my brother killed himself. Kody blatantly blew me off at Garrison's funeral. He is a liar. He is a joke of a father, and that's all. So we have Leon saying this. We have Peyton saying that he hasn't talked to his father since Garrison's funeral. We have Maddie saying the same thing. We have Maddie saying that if Robin's mouth is open, it's lying. She's lying. So we have multiple different children from multiple different mothers saying the same thing. And the common denominator is Kody and Robin. I think it's pretty clear. And if that's not being shown on a reality show, then that's not just up to Kody, Robin, and the wives and the kids. That's on production as well. So production, I feel, is a huge part to blame for this. I think it's really, really easy. You know, like, I said this in my video the other day, that, you know, like, if you follow somebody for 24 hours, you get to pick and choose as an editor and a production team what you're going to show and what you're not going to show. You can paint that person in a positive light. If you got a camera following you around for 24 hours a day, there'll be some highlight moments, there'll be some low light moments, okay? So if somebody wanted to take those low moments and paint you as an ass, they could do that. If somebody wanted to paint the high moments and paint you in the most glorious manner ever, they could do that as well. Well, TLC Production has done that. And they have done that with Kody Brown for 20 seasons. They have painted him as like this fantastic father and this husband and all this kind of stuff. And what we're finally learning as people are clocking stuff from the early seasons and comparing them to now is that it's all been a bunch of bullshit. And the kids are continuing to be harmed over this. Crazy. It's sad and it's crazy. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.